8 mice were placed inside what looked like a perfect world. 4 males and 4 females living in complete comfort. They had unlimited food, unlimited water, no predators, no diseases, and no danger of any kind. Everything they needed to survive was available endlessly. Yet less than 5 years later, every single mouse was dead. The experiment became known as Universe 25, one of the most disturbing social experiments ever conducted. In 1968, American scientist John B. Calhoun created what he described as a paradise for mice. The enclosure was designed to remove every survival problem nature normally creates. The temperature remained stable, nesting material was placed everywhere, and the habitat was cleaned regularly by hand. The mice selected for the experiment were among the healthiest available. But Calhoun wasn't really studying mice. He was trying to answer a much bigger question. What happens to a society when life becomes too easy? Before Universe 25, Calhoun had already conducted more than 20 similar experiments using rats and mice. Again and again, he observed the same strange pattern. At first, the populations grew rapidly. Then social behavior slowly began to break down. Violence increased, reproduction declined, and eventually the colonies collapsed completely. Universe 25 was designed to be the ultimate version of the experiment, the cleanest and most controlled paradise he had ever built. The enclosure itself was massive for mice. It contained stacked nesting areas connected by mesh tunnels running from floor to ceiling. Food dispensers never emptied, and water bottles never ran dry. Calhoun estimated the habitat could comfortably support nearly 4,000 mice. On the first day, he introduced only 8 mice into the enclosure and sealed it shut. For the first few months, everything seemed normal. The mice explored their environment, formed territories, and adapted peacefully. Then the first litters were born, and the population began doubling rapidly. Roughly every 55 days, the number of mice doubled again. By day 315, more than 600 mice were living inside Universe 25. The once peaceful environment had become crowded. Mice climbed over one another, competed for nesting spots, and fought more frequently. This was the moment the society began to collapse. In nature, overcrowded mice would normally leave and search for new territory. But inside Universe 25, there was nowhere to go. Every space was already occupied. Young males who failed to establish territory slowly became isolated and passive. Many gathered in the center of the enclosure and spent hours doing almost nothing. They stopped defending themselves and stopped competing for mates. Even when attacked, many wouldn't fight back. At the same time, another group of males became hyper-aggressive. They moved through the enclosure attacking other mice without clear reason. Normal social behavior slowly disappeared. The females reacted differently. Many withdrew from society completely, climbing into the highest nesting areas to live alone. Over time, many stopped reproducing altogether. Calhoun also observed something he called the behavioral sink. Even though food was available everywhere, the mice crowded obsessively around only a few feeding stations while ignoring others. Their social instincts had become distorted. As conditions worsened, mothers struggled to raise their young. Defending nests in the overcrowded environment became exhausting. Many mothers abandoned their pups, neglected them, or even attacked them. In some parts of the colony, only a small percentage of newborn mice survived. Calhoun later wrote that by this stage, the colony had already experienced a kind of social death. The mice were still physically alive, but the structure holding their society together had disappeared. The pups that survived grew into something even stranger. These mice showed almost no interest in fighting, mating, or social interaction. Instead, they spent nearly all their time eating, sleeping, and grooming themselves. Their fur remained perfectly clean because they never engaged in conflict. Calhoun called them the beautiful ones. On the outside, they looked healthier than any other mice in the colony. But socially, they were completely disconnected. They no longer participated in the survival of the species. Eventually, the population reached its peak and then slowly declined. Birth rates collapsed completely. No new mice were born. The colony simply aged toward extinction. On May 23, 1973, the final mouse in Universe 25 died. When the results were published, many people interpreted the experiment as proof that comfort and abundance destroy societies. The image of the beautiful ones became a powerful metaphor for modern life. But Calhoun believed the real problem wasn't comfort itself. According to him, the collapse happened because the mice lost meaningful roles within their society. As the population grew, more and more mice no longer had territory to defend, families to raise, or responsibilities to fulfill. Without purpose, the social structure collapsed. The food never ran out. The water never ran out. What disappeared was meaning. Calhoun believed humans still had a choice the mice did not. He argued that people could continue creating new roles, new ideas, and new reasons to contribute to society instead of simply withdrawing from it. Universe 25 wasn't just an experiment about mice. It was a warning about what can happen when a society loses purpose, connection, and the feeling that individuals still matter.